Wellness Show, episode number 422.
Welcome to the Wellness Show, a podcast on health and wealth. I'm your host, Tyhson Banighen, the founder of the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy. Join me as we get the latest insight, tips, and strategies from wellness providers, coaches, and successful, heart-centered entrepreneurs, and much, much more. Welcome to the Wellness Show, and this is your host, Tyhson Banighen. The Wellness Show on health, wealth, and enlightenment. Welcome to today's show and the return of Dr. Silverman. And today we're talking about happy cells, happy people. So without further ado, let's get going. Welcome to the show, Dr. Silverman.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me again. It is such an honor and I'm so grateful.
Yeah, it's fun. I love the last show. Got to learn lots of things. Got to talk about things that are important to me, important to you, and hopefully important to all of our listeners out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what would you like to know?
Well, I know that the cells are the whole, what would we call it? The whole factory for life, right? So it makes sense to me that if we have our cells thriving and not surviving, but thriving, we're going to be happy. Our body's going to be happy, and we're going to go through a youthing process. And particularly during this time of COVID, when there's so much stress and duress and people are literally freaking out right, left, and center, I think having happy cells is really, really key. So, and if enough people have happy cells, we're going to end up with a happy planet, which is really my goal. So that's why I'm excited about this topic, because the transformation we're looking for begins and ends in how we view ourselves and particularly our bodies.
Absolutely. I keep thinking about, let's say, three patterns for the cells: neutralize, re-energize, revitalize.
Right. So let's
Now,
go through those three.
yeah, let's go through those three. So the most important, happy. So how do we make ourselves happy, especially in this time? And see, per se, that's where you come on board with your energy enlightenments, your energy program and stuff. And that's where sometimes I'm thinking, you fake it till you make it.
Yeah, and the nice thing about cells is they listen to our subconscious. So, it's the it's the written contract that we really don't pay attention to, because we're all manifestors and we're manifesting whatever we're thinking. So if we can send a clear message to our subconscious from our conscious mind by clearing our energy field daily until that program runs automatically, then we're having an energetic shower every day, right? Cleaning our
Absolutely.
system. So that I would think that would make for happy cells and a happy body, because we're dumping the stress every single day, just like we're having a shower.
You're absolutely right. You just mentioned put a very critical word: shower. And shower, or let's equalize shower with bathing. And let me ask you a question. Do you like to go outside? Do you like to go to the forest or to the nature?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm walking, I don't know what, I think Michael knows how much. I think it's 4 kilometers every second day
Well,
in
well, it's,
nature. So,
well, it's an interesting, we shower every day, and it's actually an interesting concept whether we need to shower every day, because that's about our microbiota. That is about our flora, microflora. But what I was relating in terms of happiness, there's a concept which is called forest bathing.
forest bathing, yeah.
Forest bathing, and I catch myself every time when I go to the woods, or even if I go outside to my yard, and it's basically into the woods because we live out in an acreage. It's indeed changes my outcome immediately. It does something to my brain. It does something to my energy because that's what makes me happy. So why don't we start with something that we start thinking, what makes me happy?
Yeah,
Other than sitting by TV and eating potato chips, minus that. Minus that. That is like
don't take away my potato chips.
cancel, cancel, cancel. We don't do this. But what is going to make you happy, me, happy, without basically like putting the drugs, anything, the supplements, nothing. To
Yeah,
me,
I think that that's true. I mean, when I'm out in nature, forest bathing, and I probably don't do as much as I like. I'm busy walking. I know, and Michael says I'm doing 5 kilometers every second day. I know Michael because he's walking his dog. He gets to play with the dog, and the dog goes swimming, and so they have a lot of fun. I'm basically doing the walking physical stuff. And what you're saying is maybe I should take some time and do some actual forest bathing where I stop by the lake and listen to the water lapping on the shore.
absolutely.
Yeah,
You just mentioned it, walking a laughing. As you know, sometimes I just tell people, lock yourself in the room with a TV. Turn on the dumbest but the funniest show that is going to make you laugh profoundly without even thinking.
right.
And just do that. And just do that for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and try to laugh. Just forcefully laugh. Just make yourself laugh because you are rechanging your cells. You're changing your cells' energy. You're basically probably working on some a pH.
Right. You know what my favorite thing to do is on there's two things actually. On Facebook is to find videos of humans who've rescued animals and how much love
There
the
you go.
animals have for the humans. So that just makes me smile and giggle. The other,
Absolutely.
the
And
other
another
thing
thing
I
is,
yeah, go ahead.
it's like Michael. Michael walks with a dog a few times a day. Why do we love animals?
Because they bring us joy.
Because they make us happy.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
see, that's what it is. It's like I come home and I see my two cats, and it's like, oh, it makes Michael said it makes you walk, but making you walk makes you happy because it energizes and rejuvenates your cells, but you're also walking with a buddy.
Yeah.
And
And
I'm
Michael
sure
says that he makes me walk. That's his answer.
there you go, but he
Dog
also
makes
makes
him
you
walk.
walk and makes you happy.
Right.
So that's a thing. And so, that's why one of the happiness for us, even before we get into the cells, is animals.
Yes, absolutely. So that's another one. So being happy, or another one I love to listen to is The Voice or young people singing, and literally nobody expects them to do well, and they just blow everybody away, right? And I find
Well,
that really
well,
exciting.
to be honest with you, I like old people singing because nobody expect them to sing well, and this is like, whoa. You remember that voice with that British lady?
Yes, yes.
Everybody was, that's why. Don't judge, don't make assumptions.
Yeah, there was a dancer I was watching 2 days ago. I think she's in her 80s doing the cha-cha, and he was throwing her around and doing flips, and it was just amazing, right? That at 80 years old, she has that flexibility in her
Absolutely.
body.
My yoga teacher is 75.
Right. Yeah.
She can bend the way I cannot bend.
Right.
So that's a thing. So we need to find, and another thing that, what you said, and that's what I'm working. A thought is a belief. A thought is a belief. And
Yeah.
one of my energy teachers taught me, whenever something is bad on me, I have it on my blackboard, like, Sveta, you know who you are. So go look it up and repeat it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Repeat it because your mission is much bigger than the mission of people who have itsy bitsy whatever things.
The
That
other thing is that before the show, you just sprayed yourself, and you reminded me to spray myself. So I prayed some myself with some energy called gratitude, which is
yeah,
sound essence, that's crystal essences and vibrational frequencies. And so made by a friend of mine. So it's called gratitude. self-worth, receiving, and transformation. So I did a little spray.
I did from a, again, this is also from a friend of mine. This is a spiritual shield essence.
Well, there you are. So yeah, so don't be afraid to use an essence, particularly if it's got sound, light, color, crystal energy in it. That will help boost your immune system too. And the more that you fill your life with gratitude, right? The attitude of gratitude, whether it's through the spray or having a gratitude book that you write all the things down that make you so grateful for what's happening in your life. Like here's my gratitude book here. The more I write in this, the more I receive. You know, if you don't ask, you don't receive. So this is what my gratitude book looks. It's called Gains, right? But it's my gratitude book. And in here, I then underline what's coming in. So even paying my credit card gives me joy because I had the ability to have access to that money, which other people don't have. So I could pay my bills. So gratitude gets expressed in here, right? So that's another way.
But it's interesting what you just said because, you know, growing up as a, in this former Soviet Union, we were sort of, we were bred as a glass if always is always half empty. And it took me years and years to teach myself that my glass is always half full.
Mm,
It is never half empty because everything that happens to us, we need to think positive. We need to think that there is a meaning, but there is a positivity to the next step. There is something that is going to bring us and make us better us on a mission. And everything that the notion of positivity brings a positive energy. The notion of negativity brings a negative energy. It's always up, it is never down.
You know, the Dukabar people, I don't know if you know about them from Russia, but I grew up in the Dukabar community or close to them, which were refugees from the Soviet Union, well, prior to the Soviet Union. And they lived communally and grew food and cooperatively. And so I got to grow up in close to their community. So it really, really is fundamental on how I view the world. I view the world cooperatively, how to work together, how to live communally, how to produce fruits and vegetables that are organic. You know, where I lived, the next door neighbor, she had 4 boys, and I was the 5th one just thrown in with the other 4. She would send us with a wheelbarrow up the road to go get the vegetables for dinner from the Dukabar garden and the milk and the eggs. So that connection to the soil, that connection to life, to the life force, right? That joy of working hard with the land is something that I inherited from the Dukabar people.
That is awesome. It's interesting because I was working today and one of my previous colleagues, she's got a chicken coop. So today she delivered eggs. So, it's like when I think and talk health, the food and the quality of food is very, very important to me. So
Absolutely.
she brings me the eggs from Happy Chicken. So
Yes.
these are happy eggs.
And they
So,
look so orange in the center compared to those
right.
yellow
So
things.
not only this, this chicken are fed the proper meal and the chicken are free range to their roaming and they're eating their chow, what they basically intended to eat. So that is going to be into their eggs.
Right.
So that is so important to me because I know where it's coming from. I know when these eggs were hatched. So I know the quality. So I allow myself the most basically nutrient optimized, the nutrient dense variation of eggs, for example, and eggs are so good for our health when we start looking at it.
Yeah, that's really important.
But again, it brings to the first notion of, to me, cellular health. To me, cellular health resides on how clean the cell is.
How clean the cell is?
how clean the cell is,
Yes.
and how are we going to clean the cell? Because aging, inadvertently with aging, our cleansing mechanism that is inbred in the cell is slowing down. It's like, we tune up our cars every 6 months or something, but unless we're reminded or we're conscientious or we're health driven, we think that, it's fine, nothing is going to happen. But even with us living the healthiest we can, our aging apparatus, our cells mechanisms start to slow down. That is why it is so critically important, number one, to clean the cells, to bring our vacuum cleaners back to action, to bring our mops, cellular mops, back to action, and then clean that dirty water and clean that vacuum bag.
Yes.
Because dirty cells are not going to function. So two things. So the process slows down, but it also the process gets much easier garbage. The cells get much easier garbage.
Right. Right.
So you remember when we were kids, or you remember your grandchildren, you know, yeah, because it's communal, it's the peer sort of pressure. They eat some garbage, they eat some unhealthy foods, but they run all day and it's hard to stop them. But how much does it take us to get ourselves into disbalance with a little bit of some unhealthy food? you
Yeah,
know
absolutely.
or some That is why so many people get now so stressed, because with, let's say, COVID thingy, that's that stress that piles up on that cellular aging and the cellular slowing apparatus.
Yeah,
It's like
absolutely.
we are aging, we're slowing, but we're putting more garbage because this is the way of living these days. Because we eat commercially made, produced pesticides, herbicides food, which is actually toxic. We drink per se water from this from the tap, which has a whole bunch of contaminants and a whole bunch of hormones, this kind of things. So we are getting older, but we're putting more garbage with this.
Absolutely.
So the law number one is, how do I clean my cells from outside in and from inside out?
Yeah, I mean, we just put in a new water system today because the cottage that we have we've had it running water in there for 14 years, and all the taps and all of the toilet is full of rust and nothing works. So we had to put in a filter. So now we have a filter that we need to change every 4 months.
Well, there you
It's
go.
maintenance. You see, it's important to have clean water.
There
Otherwise,
you go.
everything
I
doesn't
never
work.
thought of the cell and maintenance, but I'm going to basically steal that word from you and utilize the word cellular, or phrase cellular maintenance.
Right.
Cellular maintenance. So how do you make more cellular mops, or how do you bring your vacuum cleaners back to the capacity of Dysons? So when
Yeah.
we're born, our cellular, we have in the cells, we have the cellular mechanism of cleaning the garbage. I call it vacuum cleaners and I call them Dysons, because when we're kids or we are young, they work so awesome. But when we age, they turn into dustbusters.
Right.
Remember dustbusters? Tiny thing, makes a lot of noise but does very little.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yes. Well, certainly the deep clearing protocol energetically is a way to clean up your
go
cell.
for it. Go for it. So you maintain the cells. How do you do this?
Yeah, I do the deep clearing protocol, and the short form I do whenever I feel out of sorts, whenever I feel I'm not handling that situation in my life in a positive way. Then I do the deep clearing protocol, the short form, because I get to change, I get to transmute the energy. I'm the one that can be the vacuum cleaner and suck the bejesus out of what doesn't serve me and then blow in the divine energy, what does serve me. So for me, that energetically, I think food wise, certainly organics is the best way for me, but also blessing my food. We talked about that last
That's
time.
correct. But okay, so what do you do in what are these cellular carburetors? They're basically antioxidants
Right.
that we make. So we eat antioxidants, not enough, but we need to turn on our own antioxidants that are going to clean that garbage, those free radicals that are going to clean that cellular stress and to turn on the healthy genes or going to give us more energy. So let's say, how do we turn on our cellular antioxidants? They're very simple methods, very simple methods. Let's start with again exercise, walking, being outside. That's number one. It's simple. You're not spending no money on this.
Right.
Number two, we need to take care of the sleep.
Of the what?
We sleep. We need to
Right.
take care of our quality of sleep.
Right.
So not only we need, but where do we sleep? Do we sleep surrounded by the cell phone and this digital device and this Wi-Fi machine and the something?
Yeah,
No.
and that's a whole important topic in the deep clearing protocol is when you're clearing yourself, you're not just clearing your inner realm, which is, toxic emotions, core factors, unresolved conflict, all that hereditary, past life, future life, your lineage, all that stuff. There's also the outside stuff like EMF, smartphones,
Correct.
all that sort of stuff. That's why we want to boost our immune system energetically as high as we can because everything around us is polluted and is bringing our energy system down.
Right. So these are the simple ways. Obviously, you need to eat right. So now let's think of some, let's say, herbs or foods or remedies that are going to rev up our cellular vacuum cleaners. Again, it's very, very simple. So, for example, turmeric. Everybody knows about turmeric. However, you need to cook it. If you just sprinkle turmeric on your salad, it's not going to do anything. You need to cook it. You need to
I mean,
make tea.
turmeric on somebody's eggs doesn't work.
No, turmeric on eggs doesn't work. You need to cook turmeric
Okay.
because it's like a tea. You need to extract it. Same thing with the tea.
Right. Okay.
Tea is going to boost green tea or basically any kind of tea. It's just green tea has more of the components that are called flavonoids.
Right. Right.
So because you're not chewing on the tea leaves,
Right.
you're steeping it, you're extracting. So you're extracting these flavonoids or polyflavones or this that is going to turn on your antioxidant production. Or for example, cinnamon.
Yes.
This is and cinnamon is so great, and I think everybody loves cinnamon. I have cinnamon in my tea every day because I love the flavor. But it is so healthy. It is going to turn on your antioxidants. Or, for example, how's about famous now? Cabbages are in the season.
Right.
And then you can make such a beautiful colored variety. Again, you're using colors
Right.
because now you have white cabbage, and then you have a green cabbage,
And
and
a
then
red
you have a
cabbage.
purple cabbage,
Right.
and then you're mixing because the colors equal nutrients.
How about borscht? I like borscht.
Make yourself up. So borscht is awesome.
Right. Or even like maybe sauerkraut.
A sauerkraut is very, very good because again, so not only you're eating when you eat your sauerkraut, you're going to turn on your antioxidant production, your vacuum cleaners, but you're also boosting your microgut. And when you're boosting your microgut, inadvertently, you're going to boost your immune system.
I've heard that some commercially made sauerkraut doesn't have that.
No, because I don't believe in pasteurized sauerkraut.
Right, there you are.
Sauerkraut has to
So
be
it's like
raw.
pasteurized milk, it just makes it
It
dead.
has to be raw, so the fermentation is still the microbiotics, the probiotics, they're still alive.
Still alive, yes.
And that also that the juice from the sauerkraut,
Right.
the sauerkraut juice, it is so medicinal
Yeah.
because it again it boosts your system. So and then if you decide, for example, you can go and start talking to healthcare professionals about some healthy supplementation in terms of how do I boost my antioxidants, because you need to understand that and that is going to be cleaning the cells. However, the best supplements on the market, they will never clean your cellular garbage by 100%. It is not a magic bullet. It is not a magic remedy. That's where we're talking about the system. How do you clean your cells? You work on your stress level.
Right.
So you know what stresses you out, so you counter it. So then you go outside, you happy thoughts, and then you reduce that. Then you're putting some healthy nutrients. This is also going to be distressor because it nourishes your cells. And then you're adding most definite cellular cleansers as I said, let's say broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbages, cinnamon, um, um, uh, uh, garlic, onion, these kind of things. And this inadvertently, whether you like it or not, but this what your cells are going to do. They're going to say, thank you, I'm becoming happy, I'm cleaning my garbage, because this is the cellular mechanism. It just doesn't work any other way. You give the cells that boost, you feed the cells right, and they will start slowly cleaning, because we're making ourselves dirty for decades. And we want one magic bullet to clean ourselves in one day and start feeling great. And then, I know you keep telling me immune system, immune system, immune system, but your immune system is not going to work without the brain. And the brain is not going to work without me distressing myself and optimizing my adrenals.
Right.
Because it's all that intertwined system. So now, for example, let's go into the second part. So we clean the cells. So now what do? We need to revitalize the cells.
So we need nutrients.
We need those nutrients. And now, how can you revitalize yourself and also cleanse yourself? For example, so how's about you're taking a bath, hot bath, and you're putting some magnesium salts in it.
Yeah, Epsom salts or magnesium.
Epsom
Salts
salts,
is better.
magnesium salts, magnesium crystals. So what are you going to do to yourself?
Right.
You're
Now,
in the hot water.
you need to be careful though. You need to be careful. You need to douse how long you're in those baths. Otherwise, you start leaching your body. So,
right. Fine. But the thing
careful.
is, you start with that thing. So you're in hot water, your pores will start getting open, your toxins will start coming out. You are cleaning your cells. Now, your pores are open, so that magnesium is going to go back into the cells. What is it going to do? It's going to calm you
everything down. Yeah.
It's going to calm you down. What else is it going to do? Well, it's going to same thing. It's going to work on different aspect of every system. And it's going to help to not only calm you down, for example, your vessels, or calm down your bowels, so you actually can move your bowels, because we can move sometimes our bowels. We're so stressed, we're so tense.
Right.
And it's going to calm your brain.
I like magnesium gel. It's hard to find it now, but the product I used to sell it through the wellness store. And some of these products we're talking about are available at the wellness store. It's www.thewellnessstore.ca, where you can get magnesium salts, but there was also magnesium gel. It's in a gel form. And if you have stressed your muscles out, or you just can't sleep, when you rub that, right? Use it like a massage, and it absorbs through the skin and just relaxes all the muscles. It's wonderful. The other thing with magnesium is, for me, if it's been a stressful day, or I walked too hard, or went to the gym and worked out too hard, taking magnesium before I go to bed in a pill form is very helpful for me too.
Yeah, I actually do the same. I take my magnesium supplement before I go to bed
Yeah,
because what I teach, I live it. But again, stress, the handling the stress is my personal sort of nemesis.
yeah.
That's what I'm learning.
That's me too. The whole, my whole addiction, some people are addicted to drugs. My addiction is the belief that I have to work hard in order to succeed, which is the biggest lie on the planet, and learning how to relax my body so I don't stress. And so I can be in the divine flow and do what needs to be done at the right time, at the right place. So that's where I'm learning to work on my addiction and relax my body, de-stress it, so I can get crystal clear guidance.
That's awesome because yeah, my biggest nemesis is that stress, and it's not a physical. It's usually I tune my, you know, I tune myself to the emotional stress, and that's where I'm learning and I'm teaching every modality that whatever I find, I teach.
Right.
So, I don't want to be like a tight coil. That's what it is. When we're straight, when we're so stressed, we're like a tight coil,
Yes.
ready to explode. So we discuss few sort of patterns what we do. So now, when we revitalize the cells again, so what do we think? Because we need more per se of a younger, healthier cells, but not only that, we need more of some cellular organelles that are giving us happy,
Mm-hmm.
that are giving us happy. And the first organelle that comes to my mind, that giving us happy, is the organelle that is called mitochondria.
Mm.
Because mitochondria has so many, I call mitochondria the key core of the cells, not the nucleus with DNA, but the mitochondria. Because to me, mitochondria is that organelles that actually controls the nucleus and controls the DNA. But the interesting thing is the powerhouse. The mitochondria is literally the cellular powerhouse. And that's why we need to re-energize and revitalize via mitochondria. So what the interesting thing is, again, there's everything, it's such a balance, it's such a disbalance, balance, and interplay of these cellular mechanisms. So I told you, when we get older, we get more flaccid, we get more sluggish, and we definitely get dirtier. But what happens to mitochondria?
It doesn't.
Simply,
It doesn't
it
reproduce.
doesn't work. This is the thing, it doesn't work that well. But what happens with mitochondria? Our cells do not contain single numbers of that. So let's say our house has one generator, but one of our brain cells contains up to or more than 2 million generators. Some parts of the brain contain over 2 million of mitochondria. Do you think those are important?
I think so.
Now,
So if the brain has mitochondria, then is mitochondria at the level of genes, or is it below genes?
mitochondria is a part of the cell. And
Yeah.
the funny part, mitochondria in generations, when we think about human evolution, mitochondria started as a teeny itsy bitty bacteria.
Right. Because the reason I'm asking is because in dowsing, certainly working with Walt Woods in the dowsing and energy healing masterclass, We're learning from Walt Woods. He's passed on now, but he taught that you can turn genes on and off, right?
Absolutely. I believe that we can turn some, not all of them, but
No,
some.
but we can check. We can check. So I guess
Right. It's called epigenetics.
yeah.
Because for
So then we need to know what we can turn on and what we can't turn off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You were just superseding my thoughts.
Yes.
So let's say rejuvenation and revitalization.
Right.
So what do? We need to turn on our epigenome or something that controls the genes.
Yes.
So that is going to basically, we don't need to turn sort of, to make new genes. We just need to turn those genes to work exactly the way they are intended.
Yes.
Because the genes is our hardware.
Right.
However, the command, the program,
Yes.
comes from the epigenome or that environment or our thoughts or the food or the meditation. So what do? We turn on through these commands, through the epigenetic, before the genes commands, to turn on our genes, our livelihood. So then that's where you start turning your antioxidant genes, and that's where you start turning your mitochondrial genes.
Mm.
That's where you start turning on your anti-cancer genes.
Right.
Because see, that's where we play. We need to turn off the what is called pro-cancer genes,
Right.
or oncogenes, and we need to turn on tumor suppressor genes, or genes that will not allow us, or we turn on the different other genes that are going to modulate cells in the immune system.
Right.
And this comes from the outside. That's where all this behavior pattern, that's where the food, behavior, the energy, the meditation, the great supplementation, that's where we are going to turn on those genes, to turn on vacuum cleaners,
Right.
and to turn on cellular generators.
Right.
And let's say when I have a lot of energy, when I do, let's put it the other way. When I don't have energy, do I look happy?
No.
No. When we have energy, we smile,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
So
We want to share our energy.
So, and the energy is that mitochondria, because I need to find the patterns, not only to make bigger numbers, to bring the numbers back, because the numbers are down. I need those 2 million mitochondria in my brain cells. I need the brain. But I need those 2 million work exactly the way they were working when we were children. Can I do this? Absolutely. Do I need per se? Can I do it again with the simple modes and methods? It's the same old actors. Exercise
Mm-hmm.
makes my mitochondria. There is a medical term which is called mitochondrial biogenesis. Biogenesis meaning that we make more of them. We make more of mitochondria. We're geneticizing them. So
And that comes from exercise, did you say, partly?
mitochondrial biogenesis relies on exercise as one of the modes. Absolutely.
Right. Now, does that matter what type of exercise, or is some?
Oh, actually, it does,
Yeah.
but to me per se, it doesn't. As long as we move,
Right.
move.
Does it require sweating?
Not exactly. Sweating is always good, because sweating is what sweating does. It actually gives you more oxygen. More oxygen. I mean, sweating does so many things, because sweating is going to cleanse your cells.
Right.
That's what we're talking. But sweating is going to turn on your cells, and kind of inadvertently boosting your immune system. and working your muscles more. So it's like giving you more oxygen, boosting your immune system. And that's what exercise does, and boosting your mitochondria.
Great. So that's really, really important, right?
Very important. And then here comes again to boost your mitochondria. We can do definitely with some healthy drugs per se, but and definitely with herbs. Absolutely, like alpha lipoic acid, like L-carnitine, like rhodiola rosea, like coenzyme Q10, like quercetin. You know, I'm sure these supplements, you've heard of them. But
Yeah,
what
and I
else
think
do you?
it's important that for people, if you do know dowsing, don't forget you can use your dowsing ability or even your sway method when you're in, when you're in the health store to see if there's an alignment between the vitamin that you're looking for and your body. You want it to be 100%. You want to get a really clear yes, because what works for one person does not necessarily work for the other person.
100%. But there is a simpler way. It's
Yeah.
your food. Because what kills mitochondria? Too much food.
Ah,
Too much food. You know, if I can only be a Japanese and leave the table when I am one third hungry.
mm-hmm.
And then there is mitochondrial my, biogenesis is through fasting.
I was going to say that. I knew we are going to
Intermittent,
get to that.
intermittent fasting. How do we boost mitochondria? When we clean the cells from the old mitochondria.
Right.
How do we clean the cells from the old mitochondria? Fasting. We're basically starving the cells, and the cells will start. It's a recycling process. So those cells will digest those old, debilitated, degenerated, dysfunctional mitochondria for their food. And that's where, let's say, exercise, intermittent fasting, and on top some additional supplementation works
So how many
super.
hours are you recommending? I know we talked about this before, between the last meal in the day and the first meal the next day. You're saying that in that period of intermittent fasting can have really, really significant results, right?
Right. As a beginner, you go 12 hours,
Right,
then you go 13 hours,
right,
then you go 14 hours. You don't even need to do that every day. Then you go twice a week, 16 to 18 hours.
right,
And then maybe once a week or once a month, you're going to do 24 hours fast. It doesn't mean that you're not eating. It means that you're still drinking, hydrating, and you can actually drink bone broth, and it's still going to be considered as an intermittent fast.
right. So there was a request from one of the listeners about, could you mention some of the supplements that you were talking about, that you just mentioned? I think that had to do with supporting the mitochondria.
Well, I've got per se galore of the supplements, but I divide my supplements into the cellular function.
Okay,
And the thing is, if the listeners want to get exactly into details, ask them to reach out to me. Go on my Facebook page or send me an email through my website.
all right. So all of those links are in the show notes, just
Right,
for those that are listening.
absolutely. Because yes, let's see, we can do well what is called, it's a new group, we can talk about it long for a long time, which is called NRF2 activator supplements,
Right,
or for example curcumin or turmeric or ashwagandha
right,
or green seed or mushroom extracts, alpha lipoic acid, coenzyme Q10, quercetin. There are so many. There are so many, but there are so very few that I think they're so critical for the health and wellness and the happiness of the cell. Well, definitely coenzyme Q10 is a happy cell.
yeah, that for
Quercetin,
sure. for me, that's one of them. Another one for me that, and I douse every 2 weeks because my body shifts. So what I needed for that 2 week period will change. So
And how
I,
do you do that? How do you know what to take? Teach me.
I douse. I'm a dowser, right? So I teach dowsing and energy healing. So
Mhm.
part of that is, whether you're using muscle testing, body sway, or your pendulum, it's a strict, alignment between your body and what you need. So I take the list of supplements I have and I say for this next 2 week period, do I need to take this, and this? Then I check how often do I need to take it. I mean, I also read the bottle. I mean, it's not as though I go against, but sometimes I may need two, and other times I only need one. Do I need it before or during the meal or after or before night or whatever? So then I make up that list for a 2 week period or until I remember again. So sometimes it's longer than 2 weeks, I check it. So some things come and go. So for some, one of the ones that comes and goes is coral calcium. There's something about coral calcium for me that has a really positive effect that I can notice, which I don't understand, but I think it has to do, when I tune in, it has to do with trace minerals, I think. I think there's something in Okinawa beach coral that activates trace minerals. And I've seen some evidence on people that have beards that they have white beards that different colors come back in their beard. So activating some of the follicles for the original colors to come back. So yeah, we're all different and we all are unique. Although what you're saying is fundamentally absolutely true, is that we do need trace minerals and we do need to have, really, really be clear about the fact that we're not getting what we need from the food. And therefore we do need to have supplements.
That's right. Yeah, people ask me, and sometimes people tell me, "Oh, I eat clean." You clean may be quite different from what I consider to be clean.
Right.
And B, unless you're on an uninhibited island, pristine that nobody touched, and that's where you live from the land and from the trees and from the sauna. I mean, from the flora and fauna
Right.
of that area, you're fine, but none of us are doing it. So even if you're very clean eater, organic and stuff, the soil is depleted. The fruits of vegetables are not the same. Nothing is the same. The meat is still not, the same. So to me, the supplementation and cellular upregulation is absolutely must for the overall health.
Yeah, I agree.
And
So the other thing that I recommend is I do cilantro pesto, and I do that for every lunch. I like to eat wraps with raw vegetables. The cilantro pesto takes out heavy metals, which is I think is important to do too, because
very important. So this is one of the parts of the cellular cleanliness process to take out of the heavy metals and be very vigilant. So what are you surrounded? What are your toxins? Uh, uh, I cannot agree more with you on that. Absolutely. And as you mentioned, for cellular energy and for cellular happiness. So, for example, cellular happiness, or for us to be happy, we have to have a healthy gut.
yeah,
There's no way
absolutely.
around it. For happy cells, you have to have happy microgut.
I
Because
don't think people really understand that very well. I think in our
okay, so let's clarify. So
yeah,
here's the thing. There is one, well, in medicine it's called neurotransmitter.
yeah, neurotransmitter.
Let's call it happy hormone,
Right,
for the easy sake. It's called serotonin.
right,
So serotonin is your neurotransmitter of hormone of happiness. That is why most of people who are depressed or some hormonally disbalanced, they are on antidepressants, which are called SSRIs, serotonin reuptake inhibitors. So they're pushing cells not to break down the serotonin, but keep it. But how is about us to be initially depleted in serotonin production to start making serotonin? Not take something that is not going to break it, but we don't have it enough to begin with.
right.
So how and what can we make it? What makes serotonin? Surprise. 90% of our serotonin is made by our microgut.
Well, I didn't know that. That's really interesting.
And then it is delivered into our brain. So meaning that microgut, our probiota or probiotics needs to make it. Now, they need to make it from what? From some precursors. Well, one of the precursors people like, it's called tryptophan. And what is tryptophan? What is the food that is very high in tryptophan? Turkey. Turkey meat. So that's why we're talking Thanksgiving turkeys and tryptophan. So you're going to fall asleep, but it's going to make you a little bit of a serotonin.
So what would we do? What would it counter to that, or another if you were available?
So there is a component which is called theanine. That's one of the supplements. So it's called L-theanine. And L-theanine is a precursor of serotonin. So we can make serotonin. But even without theanine, we just need to boost our microgut.
I'm just going to check something. I'm going to see if there's cells that can be turned on for serotonin. And guess what? I mean, can genes? And the answer is yes, you can turn them on. So that would be helpful too.
Absolutely. So microgut, again and again and again, you need your prebiotics and you need your probiotics to, upregulate, reactivate, rejuvenate your microgut. So then your microgut is going to make your serotonin, your happy hormone, which is going to be delivered into your cells, especially brain cells, and make us happy.
So what you're saying is your happiness, your mood, the controlling of your mood doesn't begin in your brain. It begins in your gut and sends a message to your brain.
People say that we have two brains.
Well, three brains.
Or maybe three brains now, yeah.
A heart and a gut and a head.
Right. So this kind of thing. So now, and everything again is so interconnected. And again, so let's say probiotics, we kind of talk about it. So eat your fermented foods or not enough. Go and talk to a healthcare professional or reach out to me. I will advise you on a very good probiotics. But you need to feed those probiotics. These are your prebiotics. You need, and what are the best prebiotics? Onions. Onions are the best prebiotics. So cook with onions. Make your soups with onions. Make your roasted veggies with onions. Make your stews with onions, garlic, apple peel, seaweed, one of the best prebiotics. Something that we blame as a weed, dandelions. Dandelions are great prebiotic.
Is there using a fruit or they're using a stem or all of it, and root, stem?
Everything. Dandelion tea is so awesome.
Right. So we have about 5 minutes to go. And did we do all three? I think we just done the two of the three, did we? Or did we do all three?
No, we did two. We don't have enough time to get into, because again, that's a long discussion. Yeah, you need to bring me one more time or two more times or three more times. So anyway, but the thing is, absolutely, because we need to, so we sanitize the cells, we neutralize the cells, we clean the cells, then we revitalize the cells because we upregulated the genes and we boosted mitochondria to a next level. Now we talk about some happy cells with happy gut, happy microgut, and then we need to now we neutralize, revitalize, now we are re-energizing. Again, so re-energizing, it's a very complicated thing per se for cells, because what we need to do, re-energizing cells, we need to boost the biochemical processes. And here again, as you said, we need to think of some vitamins, of some little things that do as a huge, big things. We need to think of the micro elements. That's where we'll start talking, thinking about that thing again, your magnesium
Yeah.
and calcium and your potassium. And then we start thinking about vitamins. We start thinking about vitamin B complex, especially vitamin B3, niacin,
Right.
because there's something in niacin when it breaks down, it gives us one of the elements that is absolutely essential for the cellular re-energizing process, which is called it's called NAD. Biochemically, it doesn't matter, because what happens is the cell is not going to proceed with reaction if it's not ignited, if it's
Right.
not catalyzed.
Right. So it needs that fire for alchemy.
Absolutely. It needs that a little bit of a fire.
Yeah.
It needs that a little bit of a fire. And that's again and again and again, we're talking about that complex and we're talking about that balance.
Yeah.
And things start simple. Happiness equals health starts simple. And it starts with me. And it starts with me as okay, happy thoughts. Bad day, happy thoughts.
Right.
Go outside. Bad thoughts, go outside, do something. Go sit by the fire, go take a shower, do something happy. Or go hug your children.
Right.
Something that you absolutely know. Even if you think about it, it makes you smile.
Yeah.
That's how you change your thought process. And some teach you, like Abraham teaches you to do happy thought for 15 seconds. You
Right.
need to hold for that 15 seconds. And then from that, we start tuning into, happy. What makes me happy? Food. Food makes everyone happy, but you need to put food, happy food, as the nutrient dense, healthy food.
Right.
And to make my mitochondria a lot and bountiful and very useful and very working, what do I need to do? I love my food. I just cannot eat a lot of it. I cannot eat a lot of it. I can do intermittent fasting.
We didn't talk about another part of that. That's hydration, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that thing, intermittent fasting, and then, okay, what do we, when you eat, such a great idea to go outside and do some sort of a physical activity,
Right.
right?
Absolutely.
Other than playing with remote control on the couch.
Right.
Of course, we've got cells are not going to work if they're not properly hydrated. Shrunken cells do not work right.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like remember, compare yourself to a shrunken fruit. The old fruit, what does it do? It doesn't go this way. It shrinks. It loses its vitality. It loses its hydration.
All right. We got about another couple of minutes to go. So let's do have you do. I know you've been in the midst of doing this summary right now. So, but for all of you that would really like to go into this deeper to learn about energy medicine, dowsing and energy healing, it's a 6-month course, and it's open now. And it's what we're welcoming new members to come on. It's 333 a month US. It's group coaching. If you can't afford to do it live, you can do it. You watching the past videos of all the of each work of each hour that we spend in the group, and then every Friday you can come on and we'll answer your questions. So that's at $125 if you can't afford 333. And it seems to me, Dr. Silverman, we should have you on that every once in a while as
Love
a
it.
guest
Love
speaker
it. Thank
talking
you.
about why is it important not only to do energy healing around your diet and your health and happy cells, but what could you do physically? So that's where the two worlds come together.
Two worlds, they only be together. They can only be together.
Exactly. So where do we go from here? I know we did a bit of a rush in the last part here. Do we need to have another conversation?
I love it.
And if so, what's the next conversation we need to have?
You know what? Considering that today I'm actually fasting.
All right.
So now I'm finishing 23rd hour of fasting. So my brain is becoming depleted. And not only I'm doing dry fasting,
Yeah.
so nothing allowed. So, we absolutely need a new session, and we need to tie it up maybe with a complex, with, like, steps. Day one, do this. Day two, do this. Day three, do this. Day four, do this.
All right.
Or something. Or first week, you're going to do this, and this is your per se.
Why don't we do a 30-day health wellness plan?
Yeah, 30-day wellness plan. That's what I'm thinking. That's
All right.
probably
Okay, you're off. Next week, same time, same place, 30-day wellness plan. Your one and only Dr. Silverman, the only doctor with a crystal ball and a candle in front of her crystal ball to help you see your future full of light, health, and wealth. So see you next week, same time, same place. And we're going to talk about your 30-day wellness plan. How do we create a 30-day wellness plan to get you from where you are to where you want to be in the shortest amount of time? Till next week.
Thank you so much. What an awesome chat today. Again, thank you. Thank you, Tyson. Thank you, Michael. Guys, thank you. Full of gratitude.
Welcome.
Full of love.
So until next week, be healthy, wealthy, and wise. See you then. Bye for now.
For quality online wellness products, courses, and services, visit our sponsors, thewellnessstore.ca and the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy located at thewellnessacademy.ca. To stay in touch, visit us at thewellnessshow.ca. And until next time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise.